welcome to Telling the Tale. I'm your host, Mitchell Farley Wolf, and I'm here with my co-host, Dustin Jackson. Say hi, Dustin.
Hi, Dustin.
Great. This is the podcast where we're going to go through every single Telltale video game released in their existence between 2004 and 2018. This week, we are covering both Case 3 and 4 of CSI Hard Evidence, released in September 25th of 2007, designed by Greg Land and Mark Darren, written by Max Allan Collins and Greg Land. We're playing the Wii version of the game, which was released on January 15th, 2008, but you've probably heard all that stuff before because this is our third of what was supposed to be 1 episodes and is going to be 4 episodes on CSI Hard Evidence. Turns out it's a difficult game to play just in one sitting. But Dustin, how are you doing? How do you feel about CSI right now in general? How is it affecting your life?
Man, you know what? I feel like this particular game, CSI game, started out stronger than I expected. I was like, all right, this isn't too bad. There's some big improvements here. I can kind of gel with this. We had some fun, wacky characters. But I gotta tell you, Mitch, these last 2 episodes, not so much.
Yeah, so a little bit of a refresher. Episode 1 of this game, or Case 1, they're called cases for CSI. Case 1 of this game was Burning for You, where there was this very strange love parallelogram between some guy who named himself Ed Freeborn, a neo-Nazi, and 2 festival lesbians that are basically referred to as such in the episode. And there was representation, there was a good message, there was like fun characters. Ed Freeborn is funny.
Yeah.
The house they're in is well designed and cool looking. It was a cool episode. And then Case 2 had a very strange, like, Final Fantasy-esque twist where you find out that the baby was not the baby you thought it was the whole time.
Yeah, like, it wasn't as good as the first episode, but it was still, like, weirdly interesting. I was interested in it.
These 2, I can see where they're sort of going to try to get to where the first 2 were. They don't get there.
No, they're not. They have some issues, we'll say.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Especially Case 4 is maybe the least I've enjoyed a Telltale game.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
that's of all of them.
Potentially. Because
Mitch,
there are worse ones. There are ones that I had a worse time with, but it's the least I enjoyed it. Because I'm thinking like Maui Better Blues in Season 2 of Sam & Max,
it's
first
still Sam
CSI
& Max
game.
at least.
Yeah, and like the way it's bad is like, okay, I hate these babies? That's funny to hate. It's funny to hate a baby. Like,
yeah,
I'm making myself laugh because I'm hating the funny baby to hate.
Yeah, and like I said, even if it was the worst Sam & Max episode, it still has some laughs here and there. I wouldn't say it was like the worst time in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's like not good though. Then the first CSI game was way worse and way more aggravating on every front. But at the same time, like, there was some aspect of playing through those cases where we were like solving something. If we were, I mean, we were using a walkthrough, and it still felt like Zelda 2-esque levels of obfuscation with the walkthrough.
Yeah.
And then in this last one, like, I don't care, but we can't. I just don't care. But we can't start there. We have to start with Case 3, Shock Rock.
Case 3 is a little better. It has a little more going for it, I think.
Case 3 has some really good moments. When I say that, are you thinking of the same moments I am? Because I'm definitely thinking of the moment you see the murder happen. So unlike all of these other cases, you have video evidence of the death.
Yeah. Boy, It feels like you're watching a Looney Tune.
It does feel a little bit like you're watching a Looney Tune. So here's the deal. The victim is 4 people, actually. The entire band Bullet Train, which is
this is
funny band.
Yeah, this is the biggest group of dead people we've had at once.
Yeah.
So far.
Have we even had more than one?
No, I don't think so. Well, it's so hard to remember. I don't think we did, no.
I don't think we had
We've usually just had the one victim.
There might have been some weird stuff going on in episode 5 of 3 Dimensions of Murder. That last one where there was like the whole mob.
Right.
Through line, but I can barely remember.
I just purged it from my memory as soon as we were done.
Yeah, you know, that's the trick with this podcast. I thought that if nothing else, we would leave this podcast having clear memories of every Telltale game. And, like, I can't remember what half of the ones we did 2 months ago are.
I mean, I remember the big ones. I remember Walking Dead that we just did, of course, so that's not very impressive. But I remember all the Sam and Maxes. I remember Strong Bad.
Well, I mean, all the Sam and Maxes and Walking Dead are things that you've played multiple times before.
That's true. That's very true. Strong Bad was my first time, though.
Yeah, and Walking Dead was my first time, but I think those are also just the better ones. It's hard to remember what happened in that second episode of Bone, and it's hard to remember what happened in any CSI. And individual Back to the Future episodes can't help you there.
You know what? Weren't we talking with Adam about it the other day? Adam, my roommate, for those people not in the know. We were discussing the length of like the last episode of Back to the Future, and he was saying like, oh, wasn't that one long or whatever? And I was like, I don't remember what happens at all in Back to the Future.
It was long. You go to like a bunch of different alternate versions of timelines.
I remember the science fair.
You go to the version of Hill Valley that is not a town and is just some hills.
Right.
Yeah.
With what's her name? Whose name I forget.
It's surreal.
Edna.
Yeah, Edna
yeah,
mode.
That's it. I wish.
Man, Telltale could have done an Incredibles game pretty well.
And it would have been
dope.
incredible.
It would have.
That would have been cool.
Fine.
Have you ever played the THQ Incredibles game?
No.
It sucks.
Okay.
And that's all.
That could have been good or bad. That could have been like great.
Yeah.
When you just said THQ Incredibles game,
They made some good stuff.
They've done some things that are passable.
Yeah.
No, that they've done some good stuff for sure. But they're also the kind of studio that, from when they were active, if you got a new THQ game, you're like, well, this could be anything.
Basically.
This could really be anything at all.
And they were the studio that got like all the licensed games for like Pixar movies, like Nickelodeon games, etc., etc.
Yeah, I wonder what the deal with that was, because they definitely were just buddy with everyone. They got so many partnerships. Maybe they seemed very cost efficient, but they went out of business, so no. They shouldn't have been cost efficient. They should have been less cost efficient. But let's talk about Shock Rock. So the band Bullet Train is 3 old geezers, and then also a young woman trying to become the next lead singer for them.
Right.
And there's a TV show, a reality television show, where young women are competing to become the next lead singer of Bullet Train. And it was just about all but wrapped up. And then the front runner in that contest, Andrea Stevenson, and the 3 members of Bullet Train, who are named Boogie Feet, Marty Party, and Steve.
I love it. I love that there's just one normal guy who decided, nah, I don't need a nickname.
Marty Party is so good.
Marty Party, Boogie Feet. Jeez. You know what? They did put some effort into this CSI trying to make it interesting. And you know what? This is like a big thing. The last episode of a reality show and the entire band is fucking killed.
Yeah.
That's like, I think this might be like the highest stakes in a CSI. Well, not highest stakes, but you know what I mean, like most high profile murder in one of these so far, I think.
Yeah. So your partner this episode is Warwick Brown. Again, another show character.
He's awesome. He's awesome. He's so good in this.
He's really good in this. And he knows all about Bullet Train. He seems to be like a big fan, even though he's playing it really cool. He knows like way too much stuff about them. Yeah. And he's just naming them off. The moment he gets there, okay, there's Boogie Feet, there's Marty Party.
there's Marty Party.
And Steve. So here's the thing. Andrea Stevenson usually sings with her shoes off. And the band, in a show of support, basically saying like, hey, Andrea, you're going to make it. You're going to be part of the band. Also took their shoes off. So they all did that. And they were standing on this like metal panel, which was then shocked with a bunch of electricity. And they were all like huddled up, singing a power chord together. And they all just got electrocuted and instantly died. There's video. It's hilarious. The way it's edited is absolutely... It's amazing. They made the only choice they could make with this editing.
and the episode starts out, you see them on stage, it's just a big pile of them.
Yeah, They're big pile of people in suits with bare feet.
Man, yeah, this... I couldn't tell you anything that happened in 3 Dimensions of Murder now, but boy, I remember this game does do a pretty good job of making its characters and situations more memorable.
3 Dimensions of Murder had the one I'll never forget, which is Case 2, which is the right. people that were Fuzzy and Bill, like basically Sam and Max, and they're just really mad about it still.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't know at the time they'd be able to do not just one more Sam and Max game, which is what they would have gotten, but 16.
2. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So here are the suspects. There's Todd. He's the soundboard guy. He was there at the scene of the crime. Kathy Cantanta, who is the rival contestant on the show to Andrea Stevenson. She's the one, probably the number 2 runner. And Eddie Tillis, who's the band's producer, all of which would benefit from the death of the band. Todd is pushed around by the band all the time. He's not being respected. He's not this, that, and the other. Kathy, if Andrea died, could, claim the spot and be part of the band. Eddie would love to sell records and not have to deal with the physical band, because the thing about this band is that they are demonstrably the worst people ever, which is true about every murder victim.
Yeah, just every single time it's like, oh yeah, we're glad they're dead. They have a good reason to have been killed.
Yeah, these are 50-year-olds who are still partying like they're 21. They're trashing every hotel room. They're just being dicks to everything. They're breaking everything everywhere.
You just describe them as this unstoppable force. They're a group of Tasmanian devils.
That's what they're presented as. They're just like these hurricanes of whirling dervishes that are not interested in not hurting stuff.
I wish they didn't die. They could have gotten a spin-off all about them.
Yeah, they really could have. The next Bullet Train Telltale Adventure series is going to be pretty solid. Eddie Tillis was pretty good too. Eddie Tillis was he's the producer. He just had like a good way of talking, and Warwick had a good way of talking as well. Oh wait, there's one more. I don't have it on my notes. Oh, but the previous, like the original old-timey lead singer of Bullet Train, Jill Wilde.
Jill Wilde.
So there's 4 victims and 4 suspects. This is the most jam-packed, characterful CSI case yet.
The gang's all here.
The gangs are all here, and maybe it's because there are so many characters that Boogie Feet, Marty Party, and Steve all have the exact same character model.
it's so I could not believe it when we saw it. This episode in particular has a lot of reusing things.
Yeah, it's that, like, the three victims are the same person. They're not supposed to be related at all. But there's that, and then also Kathy Cantanta's house is the same house that Everett Brower and Nicole lived in Case 2.
It's just exactly the same. There's like no differences.
Yeah, I mean, like, the decorations are different. There's like pianos in places, and
they're not all different. We still have that coat rack.
Sure, yeah. I bet that was not technically a decoration. I bet that was part of like the collision of the level or something. They're a lot
like,
of
who cares?
Yeah, this is just like the most clearly low budget thing I've seen from Telltale so far.
Yeah, this episode really... but you can feel the squeeze.
Yeah, what's interesting about this is that we're playing this on the Wii, and this is early 2008, which means the Wii hasn't even been out for more than a year and a half. So in the first year and a half of the Wii, where like everyone's rushing out, there's Wii fever, everyone wants to play Wii Sports, they're way in it. There was like a rush to make more Wii games. And this is one of them. This is one of like the few that you could get very early.
Yeah.
Mario Galaxy 1 was out. Twilight Princess obviously was out.
Yeah.
Wii Sports.
That was about it.
Rayman Raving Rabbids. And then CSI Hard Evidence. Like it's like in the early crew of the Wii. People were going out to get this game, and they were like, yeah, but Marty Party is probably the same dude as Steve. And I wonder how this sold. I really have no concept of how this sold. Every early Wii game did very well, but still.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure this did amazing.
It's either that or opposite.
I guess one of the two, yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I liked about this episode is we got not one, but two of our Telltale regulars in this episode, in terms of voice actors.
Yeah.
Todd is played by Brian Somer, who's also Brady Culture in Sam and Max.
Yeah.
No, he has his voice like this.
Come on, guys.
I didn't know he was in so much. He does like multiple voices in Psychonauts 2. That's cool.
Yeah, he sounds a lot like... He sounds maybe more like Arthur McFly than the guy that they had play Arthur McFly.
Now, Biff. They should have gotten him. That would have been perfect.
Brady Culture is a great fit for Arthur McFly.
Yeah, I mean, I say that all the time.
I'm constantly telling people about that.
People aren't ready to hear this, but... but we also have Amy Provenzano, who is the voice of Sybil Pandemic, who played Kathy Cantana, who's the other contestant on their reality show.
Yeah, she has a very good sort of sultry, doesn't care about other people kind of voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I am sort of above it.
Sort of. And like, you know, it's definitely far from a surprise hearing the stable of Telltale actors show up again, but I guess it's just interesting hearing them in something like CSI. Yeah. I don't know why it is, but just because it's so different from their other stuff. I'm like, I have to cling to when I hear something from a good thing, because it makes me feel happiness for a little bit.
So they also played some Bullet Train songs during this that they just had to make up for this game. And I liked them all. They were all sort of bad and very repetitive, but they were great.
That was the point.
Yeah. They're an 80s hair metal band that never stopped being active. So they just got worse and worse, I guess. But people still like them just as much.
They're the talk of the town in CSI land.
Yeah, are they from Las Vegas? I think they must have been because Jill is living there.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, so between Todd, Kathy, Jill, and Eddie Tillis, which one did it? Sort of Todd and Kathy.
Yeah, so Kathy kind of seduced Todd into doing it. And Todd's like, wow, okay.
Yeah, so Todd has this weird stalkerish crush on victim Andrea Stevenson. Andrea's not going to give him the time of day. And also, the band doesn't give him the time of day. He's like in love with this band. He dropped out of high school to roadie for them. And didn't really get the respect that he deserves. So Kathy, the runner-up in this contest, who's definitely going to lose to Andrea, but like might be able to swing it somehow, says, "Hey Todd, if you kill Andrea, I'll have sex with you literally all the time." Literally all the time. She made that very, like, that one point was stressed. And also, I'm going to make it so the band is like a much chiller place for you. You can actually be part of this. By
killing them.
You can be part of this situation. So he tried to do that, and he didn't know the band was all going to take their shoes off and get in it and hug each other and stuff during the performance. So he inadvertently killed them all. He had been tampering with like a foot pedal to make it reverse the polarity of the circuit as soon as it's pushed down and just zap everything.
Oh man, he bit off a little more than he could chew, didn't he?
Yeah, at one point in the episode, the CSIs are looking at the pile of dead bodies on stage, and they're saying,
"It's such a funny visual."
Yeah, it really is.
These models,
barefoot on a metal stage, can't say they're the smartest, and like, dude, this isn't a normal problem. Don't tell me can't say there. This isn't something I need to be looking out for. There aren't large, wild runs of electricity just going through everything all the time at a rate that could kill me if I'm not wearing shoes. That's not constant. That's not the world we live in. If it was, we would be dead a lot of times over by now. We would not have reached 30 years old.
You can die at any time.
You would die so fast if this thing that the CSIs are just bringing out in order to make fun of dead people, it was true at all.
Yeah, boy. I'm just speechless because I'm just remembering the pile of dead bodies.
Yeah.
And then when you take them to the fucking morgue, it's just they just use the same model for all of them except for Andrea.
Right. That would be impressive if Andrea was also the same model.
They were like, yep, there they are, all four of them.
Yeah, I remembered when Skunk Ape was getting going, they were doing an interview with someone on the Limited Run Games Twitch channel, and they were explaining how the Sam & Max remasters benefited from years of experience learning how to more properly reuse assets, so they can be cheap and use fewer things, but like disguise it in better ways.
That's one of my only problems with Tales of Monkey Island. We haven't gotten there yet, but that's one of the big. They reuse a lot in that.
Yeah, but I mean, they also poke fun at it in that one in a way that this is very. CSI is played very straight. Marty Party just is the same looking guy as all of the other ones.
I could not, but I thought the game was fucking up.
Yeah.
Because I thought it just wasn't switching the models out, but nope, that's just how it is.
Also,
remember the lotion? Remember the lotion that you could get and not pick up?
Yeah. So okay, at the morgue, like Robbins, the coroner, has a little something to say about each of the band members, and mostly it's how they're just full of booze and cocaine and heroin even. And then when he gets to Marty Party, he's like, yeah, definitely did coke and was super drunk, but also he had like an antifungal cream. And then you see the fungal cream on like the tray next to the body, and you look at it, and then that's it. Like the game doesn't let you pick it up. This isn't important to anything. They don't do this ever. They just gave you the cream, but you can't have it. And
they frame it as like something you can pick up that you're gonna need, like a clue behind all this. But no, that it's just there on the table. He even says you can have it if you want, and it's like, I guess I didn't want it because I didn't take it.
You know, this is kind of that big thing about giving stuff an H of G to just be generous about your understanding of the situation. Like, you hear about that thing where the main difference of whether you find someone funny or an idiot on Twitter is if you assume the person is smart, right? So if they're smart and they're pretending to be dumb and it's a joke, and if they're not, then it's real. But like, you are very often just putting that onto them, and they aren't necessarily smart or dumb. You're just, you know, projecting and bringing some biases to that.
Right.
I think about this lotion and the ice key in Banjo-Kazooie as a very similar thing.
Oh,
like this object is in the game. It's hinted at you can have it, but how do you get it? And in Banjo-Kazooie, it's like, oh, well, what a fun mystery. We'll spend years thinking about this ice key. And in this game, like, well, the game's broken. the game's
what a
done.
fun mystery. We'll be thinking about this lotion for years.
I mean, if we were of the mind to be generous to the game, we might think that, right? We might
What's up with that lotion? Is that going to pay off in the future?
Yeah, the lotion was Sephiroth the whole time. Like,
oh, no.
Yeah, but that's this game. Oh, also this episode, first shown sex in a Telltale game.
Oh yeah, they go at it, and it's like very you can just see it all. I mean, you don't see any nudity.
Yeah, I would not say you see it all, but
you see one kind of bobbing on top of the other.
Yeah, and there's like a blanket sort of draped over him. It's Kathy and Todd on camera, which is how you find out about that whole thing.
Yeah, she just like out loud says like, "Oh yeah, killer, do it,
and I'll have even more sex with you." It goes it goes way deeper. You don't even know.
She just had no idea. She just happened to be being recorded.
No, I think she knew. I think Todd knew that. Todd said like, "Hey, can I record this?" And she was like, "You can do anything you want if you kill Andrea Stevenson."
What a stupid thing. You would think one of them might say, "Hey, maybe it's not a good idea to record us having sex and also admitting to killing this person."
Yeah, you'd think so, but like, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't write this.
That's case 3. Let's move on to case 4.
Oh, did we? Yeah, we did say you did it. Yeah, Kathy and Todd. Okay, moving on.
So you arrest them both, and even though Todd does it, it seems like Kathy gets the stricter sentence.
I think they knew. I think they knew it was because she was the one manipulating it or something. I don't know if that necessarily.
But she wasn't manipulating him that hard. She was just sort of like having sex with him, suggesting it, and Todd then murdered 4 people. And then Todd's like, "Well, yeah, but Kathy's the real one." Which
Todd
this game does a lot to women.
Yeah,
this game.
Todd killed an entire band. That's so crazy to think about. He just wiped a band. Imagine if some band in our life just all died all at the same time. That would be crazy.
Yeah. Has it happened?
I don't think so. I can't think of any, but I'm not like...
I'm thinking of the Buddy Holly plane crash, and obviously that was
That's
crazy.
the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. That was huge at the time. Chubby Checker.
Yeah.
As well.
This is I can't get over like how massive this is. Just like a whole band, 4 people just murdered all at once. No more Bullet Train. There's just no more Bullet Train in this world. The darkest of days.
There was a TV show about them, and then suddenly there wasn't them.
Yeah. They gotta find a new Bullet Train.
Yeah, well,
they gotta replace everyone.
That episode was dumb, but this next one is boring. So who's to say which one's worse? Case 4 is called In Your Eyes. And there's 4 major players here, 1 victim and 3 suspects, all of which are Indian. And this touches a lot on Indian traditions, but I should say, not in a way that A, feels like it's written by an Indian person,
Yeah.
or B, is actually about Indian traditions and it's more about the Western view of what Indian traditions probably are.
Yeah.
So, 2007's really kicking ass here. So here's the story. Prayat is, I don't remember the last name. Bandarit. Prayat Bandarit is a surgeon, an eye surgeon, an ocular surgeon, who is killed in his sleep at some point in the night. Suspects are Amita Bandarit, his wife, Adia Bandarit, his daughter, and I didn't write it down. This is a bad one to not write down. The name is hard to say. It's like Duresh. I'm gonna say Duresh, unless you have the on the tip of your tongue.
I do not.
A Darsh. It's a Darsh.
A Darsh. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. So, and a Darsh is another doctor. He's a junior doctor under Prayat, who is like working in his office with him.
Yeah.
Important to note, the wife, Amita Bandarit, is a blind woman.
Yes.
And also important to note, the cause of death is being battered in the head a lot of times with a fire poker.
Yeah, a lot of times. 4 times.
4 times is 4 more than I could probably take and get away from. So...
That's true. If I were gonna murder somebody, I would probably get like halfway. Like I wouldn't even make contact with the person's head, and I would just be like, I don't want to do this anymore. Never mind.
Yeah, I would hit him max 7 times. I don't think I could go much more than
that. Yeah, maybe like 24 times, but that's my limit.
Yeah, I would never do it more than 25. So... You at one point said, "Oh, wow, I wonder how they're going to make this character seem like a shithead. He seems great." he's like this self-starter immigrant doctor. He's got a blind wife.
Yeah.
He's not going to be made into a bad guy anytime soon. Totally is. He was... The wife said that he was great until halfway through the case, where she starts admitting... Yeah, I mean, like, he abused me every day of my life. But, that's love. And the daughter was going to be set up with an arranged marriage with a Darsh. The father was setting a Darsh up with the daughter. A Darsh is like a skeevy guy. Just like a real... blaming everything that he does that is clearly shitty everywhere in the world on being an immigrant.
Yeah.
Like, he was stealing money from their credit cards. And he, like, when confronted about that, he just says, "Oh, look, okay, things don't work the same way they do in America and India. It's a minor mistake. I'll get it fixed." Like, he's actively stealing all their money through their credit cards, and that's what he's saying.
Yeah. I mean...
I'll get it fixed. It's a minor mistake.
I'll get it fixed. Don't worry about it. God.
So, it should definitely be him. He's the guy that's, like, going to inherit the family by marrying the daughter, and also inherit the practice, because he's, like, the second doctor in line.
Yeah.
And also, he's already stealing tons of stuff from them. It should be him. He sucks. He's like a recurring sucky guy. It's obviously not. What they do that is...
It's never the guy that they say it is.
It's never the guy. To the point where it's just offensive. Because, like, if it's clearly this guy and you just say, actually, it just isn't, well, that's not, like... That's not a mystery story. That's just a fuck you story.
Every single time we were calling it. Every single time they were like, it must have been this guy. They had the motive. It's like, okay, well, it's obviously not them.
Yeah,
then.
Well, now it isn't him. What they did this episode that I will give them some credit was pretty interesting, though, was that Amita, the mother, and Adya, the daughter, confessed at the same time in order to save the other one. They love each other, and they didn't want the other one to go to prison. So they both confess, which means one of them is lying.
Yeah. So I will say this is at least kind of an interesting way to do it, just in that they haven't done it like this before. They don't do anything interesting with it. But I was kind of like, oh, okay, well, all right, I'll give them a little credit. But yeah, the rest, not so much.
Yeah, and neither of them were backing down, so you needed to find evidence that pointed you right in the direction, which I will say, like, is them pushing the core aspect of the game in the design of the story, which I think is clever and good. So you can find out by looking at the blood spatter in the bedroom where the guy was killed that based on how it worked, the killer was left-handed. You find a crossword puzzle somewhere, and you can analyze the handwriting. First off, no. You can analyze the handwriting to determine that A, it was Amita's handwriting, and B, it was left-handed. Whereas Adya sets her table right-handed.
Oh, see, that's the part I missed. When we were finishing up the other day, I was a little confused. I was like, okay, so you found out one of them is left-handed. What if they're just both left-handed? But I missed that part.
Yeah, I think Greg, by the way, is your partner. We didn't talk about that yet.
Oh, yeah, Greg. I have mixed thoughts on Greg.
Tell me all your thoughts on Greg.
So, as soon as the episode started, as soon as I saw Greg, I was like, this guy sucks. I hate him already. I can just tell he's gonna suck. And then he immediately has like a really funny line when we get to the house. What was the exact line? You didn't write it down.
He was talking about how the decor of the house was early spatter, which is a very stupid joke. That's like, why even say stuff if you're going to be so bad at saying things?
There was something else he also said, but I don't remember the exact line, but it immediately made me be like, all right, never mind. I like this guy. This guy is great. But I think the one part I do remember about this episode is, I forget who we were interrogating. I think it was the daughter. I think it was the daughter, and it would just randomly cut to our partner. Yeah. And he would just like nod or shake his head solemnly. It would just be like, I was getting annoyed by it. I was like, stop cutting back to him just to get like the weakest, like just showing that he acknowledged you said something.
Yeah. So Amita killed the dad killed her husband because she didn't want her daughter to be ruled by this man in the same way that she was. Mm-hmm. Which is sort of they describe it as a noble execution in the game, which makes it feel really weird when they just arrest her like everyone else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you have to. I mean,
of course,
she killed a person.
She killed a guy. But like, what is the benefit? What is the narrative benefit of making me hate every victim? Is it just so I can like walk away from the game feeling not so sad? They like don't want me to have an emotion?
Yeah, you can just say, "Oh, I'm glad they're dead then. Fuck them."
Yeah, make me have it. Don't you know that emotions are like important for storytelling? Let me feel
you can't
something.
Have it be. Yeah, you can't have it be sad that someone's dead. They just have to suck it's every single time. I can't think of a single time the victim was like good. Even from the get-go in Three Dimensions of Murder, the art lady was like, oh yeah, she sucked. She was the worst. I'm glad she's dead. I didn't do it though.
Out of case 3 and 4.
Uh-huh.
My weekly guy is Warwick Brown.
Warwick Brown is so good. He does such a good job of pretending he wants an autograph from the original singer. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a big fan. Could you make it out to Warwick?"
Mm-hmm.
And her note said, "Stop being so cute." And then her threatening note to the other singer was like, "Stop abusing Todd," or whatever. They just both happen to say stop, and you're like, that's the same
you
writing.
compare the stops in the comparison microscope.
I'm glad she wrote the exact same word down on these just by total coincidence.
Yeah. My golden moment from these two cases is the footage of them getting shocked is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it for me.
My golden moment.
It can't be anything from episode 4.
Yeah, I think I just gotta agree because that was the moment that made me laugh the most. Both my segments are the same as yours,
That's
but
okay.
I guess neither of these episodes were like super. I guess the first episode was funny enough, or episode 3, I mean. But yeah, episode 4 is a real groaner.
So,
well, even then, it's not like the worst, but it is boring and it wraps up very fast. It was mercifully short. I described it to another friend.
Yeah. We almost played the 5th one, but we just couldn't push through. We just couldn't quite do it. We still have one more case of this before we move on. But we've been told by a listener who's listened to both of the hard evidence episodes that are out so far that we need to mention something that we've been neglecting to mention about this game.
I almost totally forgot about it again this time.
Well, I have it right here in my notes.
Yeah.
Bugs. You catch bugs in this game.
Yeah, there's 5 bugs per case, and you can just grab them. You just grab bugs.
Yeah, you just hover the cursor over and click, and that is all we can say about the bugs. That's why we didn't bring it up before. You just get them. They don't do anything other than like...
Yeah, they do.
Well, sort of. They don't do anything for the game. If you get all 5 of them,
bonuses.
You get like... There's like trailers.
You get trailers.
And concept art, but like...
Yeah. That's at least something. That's more than the first game had.
I prefer not having it. It's meaningless. It doesn't mean anything.
Right. Can I also just say, I hate the fucking thoroughness points.
Thoroughness points. Yeah, explain those.
So thoroughness points are points you get for exploring and finding... It's like when you investigate areas of a room that you don't need to. It just gives... It says... Oh, you can click on this and you'll get a thoroughness point and nothing else. And that's very annoying when you're trying to figure out a case and you're just clicking on things, trying to find stuff. It could be like, oh, okay, I can click on this TV. I wonder what happened with this TV. And then you click on the TV and it's like thoroughness point acquired. And I'm like, great. Well, that was a waste of time and gave me something I don't care about. And that happens so much. It's so... There's a lot of these. And I don't care. Don't have thoroughness points. Get rid of them. Because it's more frustrating than fun to click on something and then be told, oh, good job clicking that thing you don't need. Anyway, go find the rest.
Yeah. I kind of like them. Because I feel like it's a good metric of like, oh, good. I know I'm not missing something here.
Yeah.
But I also see where you're going with it. You just like being drawn into a space you don't need to go. I think there's maybe a bigger conversation to have there about gameplay elements that exist in order to make the main path more difficult in detective-based games. Because if you were just given only the correct information all the time, then you would just plug it in and win. So you need to be given some false information. Otherwise, it's otherwise it's just a trivial endeavor. But I don't think this game is worth that conversation.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And yeah, I get it.
It just gets me annoyed. I don't want to do it.
Sure.
And I get where you're coming from, though. I get what you mean, but boy, this is the last game I want to be playing more than I have to.
Is there anything else we can say about Case 3 Shock Rock or Case 4 In Your Eyes?
No.
Okay. Well, this has been Telling the Tale. Join us next week as we talk about the final case of CSI Hard Evidence. And if you stick around after that, we're actually going to be playing a game that people have heard of after that.
Oh, wow.
I think we said earlier that we're going to be jumping into Poker Night at the Inventory after this. We're not doing that anymore. Change of plans. After this, we're going to be jumping straight into episode 1 of The Wolf Among Us. We're finally doing it.
Wow. We're finally getting there.
We're gonna get ready for Wolf Among Us 2.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I always forget Wolf Among Us 2 is happening.
Yeah, it seems to be actually happening, too. They've made good progress in letting the public know that there is real work being done on these games. That and The Expanse are both coming sometime next year. So there's that.
Awesome. Yeah, good for them.
Yeah. But how can you have your pudding if you don't eat any meat? Next week is Case 5 of CSI Hard Evidence.
Oh, man.
So until next time, we'll see ya.
Bye.